Carl Rogers did not mostly reflect words. He didn't mostly say back what the client said. He mostly said what he, Carl Rogers, felt that she felt. And he called that empathy. And when he said his empathy, he went more deeply than I had. And I think it's important because in the years since Carl Rogers, there's been a lot of talk about saying back, as if the point is to say the words back. And I'm quite sure that that's not what he did. He stated his own feeling of what the client felt.
And I just want to underline that what you were learning from the client's response to what you said, that it didn't, that Carl Rogers' response did something, carried it forward.
Okay, yes, that's right. And these days, when I respond with my empathy or with what I feel the client is meaning, I always invite the client to correct me. I say something like, what more would you say, or how would you put it differently, or what do you say to that? Is that right? I always say, is that right? And typically the client says more. They don't just say yes. They say, well, more like this, or more like that, or a little more like this, and they correct me. And in the process of correcting me, I feel that the therapy is successful, that she's saying things that are fresh, that are new, that are correcting what I said and more than I said. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, because then they have to go inside to see what more.
Yes, that's right. And to see what's more is not words. The person-centered group knows everything that I have to say, but I feel that person-centered group doesn't know that they know it. They don't have a language for implicit knowing, but they have implicit knowing, and they know implicitly what you very well just said, that when the client corrects my response, they go somewhere to get that. That's
so they know it implicitly, but you would like it to be even more.
I would like them to know that they know it implicitly. I would like all of you to have a body, because the implicit is the body. It's not words and it's not concepts. It's bodily. That they, when they go inside to see more how it's like, they are in the body. It's only from the body that it comes from. And so I feel usually successful when I invite her to correct me, and she does correct me. She says, more like this or more like that. Where does she get that? It has to be from the body. But I would like you all to feel that you know that already. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. One of my students said that focusing is being able to know what you know that you didn't know that you knew.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Thank
Yes.
you. And that's implicit. That's in the body. It's not in words, and it's not in concept. You also all know, I know you know, that when therapy works, it's because it's bodily and the client is present and you are present. And this bodily presence is already an interacting. It's already an interacting. And that's when therapy works, when you can feel the bodily company that you're keeping somebody. And if it's not bodily present, then it doesn't work. And there's many times when the client is physically present but not personally present. And then it doesn't really work. They're not really interacting. And
Yeah.
you can feel when the client and you are interacting. Isn't that right?
Yes, you can feel it when there's a real interaction, when you and the client are interacting.
Exactly. And if it's not real, then it doesn't work even if it's in the room. Whereas it can be in Colorado or somewhere far away and on the phone, and just hearing your voice, the client can hear your presence.
Gene, would you say that this bodily presence is like the concept of congruence, or is it different?
I don't think it's like any congruence. It's more. It's like the client is having more than she expected, more than she knew about, more than the concept. Roger said empathy, genuineness, and positive regard. So where would you put congruence?
Probably genuineness, then, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's right that what you mean there. I think it's right that in correcting, she goes inside, and that's where she gets the correcting.
Maybe all three of those are bodily, but people might want to know from you what you mean by bodily, because it's not a pain in your toe or anything,
Exactly.
but they may not know exactly what you mean by bodily.
Exactly. And I do mean something that people don't seem to know to talk about. I mean that they can feel it in their bodies. If you don't feel congruence in your body, then the hell with it. If it's a concept, then it doesn't quite work. As you point out, a concept has many different meanings, many different words that mean something. But a new bodily sense is different. It's implicit. By implicit, I mean it's not a construction. It doesn't exist as a shape or a form or a construction. It's more than that. And therefore it's also more than mathematics. It's more than logic. More can follow from a bodily sense than could possibly follow from the numbers or the units. When you keep units the same, then it doesn't work. There is no therapy in units or in putting together separate pieces. What is meant by implicit is something that more follows from it when you go inside the body. More follows from it in the body than can possibly follow from it by putting pieces or units together. Am I making sense?
Yes, I want to say that, underline that when there's something that actually happens in the person, in this larger dimension of body that goes beyond the words, beyond the concepts, beyond the unit,
Exactly.
you can see it and feel it, and we want that.
Right, and beyond means more follows. That she can find more than she expected and more than she predicted. It's not all determined, it's already more than determined. Yeah, you said it very well. For many years we used an experiencing scale. In low experiencing there's nothing but externals, and then in middle experiencing there are lots of reactions inside, and then in the top level it really is a finding, a fresh finding in the body that couldn't possibly be in words. And when that's looked up in the dictionary, it doesn't make the words that would come. Something comes in the body and it doesn't make the words that the dictionary has. Those are left behind and something fresh comes. I know that I argued furiously with my friend Gail. She said that if the words changed meaning, we wouldn't be able to communicate. And then she said, right after that, she said, when I look in my husband's eyes, I can tell whether he's close to me or not. I think that the meaning of the words is very different when you want it to be the same thing in the dictionary. It's some kind of a street meaning that always has the same meaning in the dictionary. And that's not what we mean in the body. We mean something fresh. Very often I say to my client, you don't need words. You can call it that. And that works for them, to call it that. And that way it means what it means in the body. It doesn't have to mean a particular word.
I just want to underline what you said about, that's what it is a body feeling, and that's what counts.
Yes.
With the saying that.
Hello, Gene. This is Howie Kirschenbaum.
Hello.
I don't think we've ever met in person, but
I would say it please more slowly so I can understand it.
yes, I don't think we have ever met in person, but you have corresponded with me and shared much information about you and Carl Rogers for the writing of his biography.
I'm glad.
I think he came to appreciate your work more and more over the years.
I think that's surely true. And it's very obvious too, because that's the way he practiced. And I'm only adding this invitation to correct the therapist. I feel it very strongly, and I say, is that right? And then she typically says more, and this more is what I'm after. So would that be the same thing as, maybe he didn't say it in the same way, but he would want? And certainly the experiencing scale has that, and he was in favor of that very much.
Yes, thank you. So Gene, I think that's the questions we have for you. Is there, before we close, is there anything else you would like to?
Yeah, let me just say I'm honored and I am happy that we're getting back together again.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
There are many big smiles in the audience right now when you said that.
I'm glad. Okay. So hello to everybody.
The most important thing is that you hear the clap.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay.